Hey everybody, welcome back. Another Gravity Ace devlog. I've upgraded the stream a bit with some fancy graphics. Nothing makes you feel more productive than doing stuff that's fun but doesn't really accomplish anything. Yeah. Happy Saturday, everybody. Or if you're watching from the future, happy whatever day it is. Oh, let's see. Let's get right into it. Today I'm going to work on this. And I'm going to work on this. If I can accomplish these two things today, we'll be good. We'll be happy. Let me know if the music or whatever is too loud. So, Gravity Ace. In case you don't know, I don't know who's watching right now, but in case you don't know, Gravity Ace is this. It's a 3D multi-directional shooter cave flyer. You fight gravity, you get points, you blow stuff up. It's out in early access. And today, what I want to work on, this thing, is... Oh, look at that. I've already... Oh, thank you, past me. Current me thanks past me for doing this. So when you start a level, you get this letterbox. You get this. And I was thinking right here in the center, like below the title of here, it's going to show some tips, you know? Tip. A random tip. Right? Watch out for gravity. Random tip. You know, don't run out of fuel. Don't die. Get good. Right? These will be the tips. And it's sort of just another way to broadcast to people how to play without being in their face about it. And it's totally skippable, right? You can just click through those. The other way that people are taught how to play is through the dialogue, of course. Turn that on. This is the very first level. Right? And we try, sure. Right? Tell people about gravity. Tell people how to fly. Tell people about their shield. Right? But to reinforce that, I want to add some tips. Because the tips will be something you'll see every level, over and over and over again, right? And even if you're not reading them every time, I think they'll go in kind of subconsciously. So, I want to bring up the letterbox scene, because that's where all that magic happens. And in the letterbox scene, we've got an animation player, and it does that. Right? Which is cool. And then there's the start. Right? And then there's the loop part. Right, and this just loops and loops until they push continue, and then it ends. Right, so it starts, goes to the loop, and then it ends. So somewhere in here, I'm going to have to fade in the tips, I think. But first, let's make the tips. Yeah, I'm going to put it in here. So, let's see, how am I going to do this? It's out of control. Call it tips. And then whatever nodes I put in here, I can control them all from this one node. So let's center this. Let's put it something like that. And then it'll go somewhere here like this. Right? Maybe something like that. Yeah, that works. And then inside of this, let's add a texture rectangle, and let's have the LT. So the lieutenant is going to be the one giving you the tips. Hey Rob, how you doing? We're adding. You see the spaceship? I demoed this last time on the last stream, and in that stream, people could control the ship, and it turned out to be too difficult to do. There's too much latency, too much delay between the command and seeing the result on the screen. So now what I changed it to is if you chat like this, I'm doing great. Then your ship spawns in and they just start fighting each other. You can see the chat there. And then we just see who wins. And if you die, you respawn your ship again by just saying something else. So I'm adding tips to the screen, to this intro screen that plays when you start a level. Man, this animation's big. Bunch of stuff in there. I gotta say, I'm rooting for my guy here. He's stuck down there in the corner like a dummy. Turn around. I'm gonna spend more time building an AI for this. Than actually working on my real game. But this AI actually will be good. I think it'll be useful if I make it smarter, because I want to have a multiplayer, not a multiplayer. Well, I want to have a local multiplayer in the game, and you know, let 2 players, maybe 3 or 4 players, all fight each other in an arena. That'll be one of the game modes in Gravity. That'll be fun. But if you don't have a friend who can play with you, maybe you play against a computer opponent, and so that's where this AI would come in. So I do have a, like, making this smarter. Making this guy smarter could actually be useful for the game. Anyway, on to what we're doing. Texture rectangle for the lieutenant. The lieutenant is here. Portraits. Lieutenant. Expand. Lieutenant. Ooh, she's big. I forget how big she is. Could use her icon. It's gonna be too small. Yeah. Let's do this. I'll scale her down. It's not gonna look great though if I scale her down. That's not so bad. You know what I should do? Maybe. Maybe I should just have this pop up as a dialog box. Crazy. Block, no. Report. Spam. Bot. Bot. It's a spammer. It's a spam bot. Submit report. Block. Annoying. Well, so this isn't going to be a dialog box, but I can reuse that art. So in fact, let me just import that from dialog box. I want this one. Like that. And then the LT is going to go. Well, let's see. Do that. Do that. Do I want to do that? Do that. Yeah, then I can just move this whole thing like that. How does that look? So big. And she doesn't look great. I think I can make her normal size again, though. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. Now she's just dominating the whole screen. UI work is always so fiddly. I wonder if I can change this to a 9 patch. Let's try that. Let's change it to a 9 patch. And yeah. What'll this be? 20, 10, 20, 10. See how that works. How come I can't change your size? Okay, this needs to be much bigger. Let's go like that. works. Oops. Why is the 9 patch acting so weird? It's scaling this stuff. I don't understand how the 9 patch works. Hey, Judd. Attack. Alright, now it's on. Oh! Honestly, I'm not controlling the characters. It's all AI. When you chat, they spawn in, and then they just start fighting. There's no special AI if the name is Jotson. Yeah, the only thing that works now is the AI. There's no more control. That just didn't work very well. Alright, I don't understand why the 9 patch is doing this. It doesn't work the way I expect it to work. No, it's working vertically. Works vertically until it gets smaller than the actual size of the thing. Oh, and then it works okay once it's bigger than the actual size of the thing. Okay. So you can't make a 9 patch smaller than its native resolution. That's a decision. I guess that makes sense. Just not what I wanted. So if I zero that. Yeah, so that's what I expected it to do. But it's only working if it's bigger than its native size. Once you start shrinking it, it really starts scaling it down. Okay, so I don't want a 9 patch. I might have to just draw some art for this. Whoops. Dang it. That's okay. I can draw something specifically for this. Reusing that old art, but just a special version of it. That's fine. Let me merge that in again. Has this song been going forever? We'll play one Christmas song. One Christmassy song. All right, dialog box. Panel. All right. Maybe we don't need the LT there. Let's try without the panel. Let's put the LT back in and add a tip text label, and we'll call this the tip, and we'll change the font to be one of the bigger fonts. This guy. How does this work? It's too big. Just load that font. That's okay, but it's bigger than the title. I don't like the weight of that one. Yeah, let's just go with the small. Is that the right color? Okay, let's work on the color. I think I want the color to be the same as this color, whatever this is. Why is that gray like that? Is it... It's because it's... Oh, okay. It's because it's not fully... Why is it that color? There we go. I think I can delete that one. Yeah. So sometimes you can put I put these themes on these labels, but they don't. What happens is if you put a theme on a control, all the child controls inherit it. So I just put it here. I moved it from these to here, and now it'll apply to everything in here. I thought there was one already here, but there wasn't. So now the font's the right color because it's in the right theme. All right, so the tip will go something like right there. Lieutenant will be right there. That's fine. Put that there. Like that. And then let's move the lieutenant here. Yeah. Like that, like that, like that. Okay. So I think I want to put the LT completely inside this tips box. Move this like that. This like that. Where is this? Yeah. Oops. So I'm making a... Hey, Jed. Sorry I missed your comment there. What am I making? I'm making a a box that will appear when the player starts a level that shows them or tells them some handy dandy tips for playing the game. Oops. And I think that will work for right now. Let's just put in the code now. Let's work on some code. Let's have this wrap and play tip goes here. All right. All right. That's a weird way to see if I'm running from the editor. That's okay. I'm not going to change that. This is what I want. Tip equals get tip. Get tip. Get tip. Where tips equals turn tips. Tips.size, no. Rand I mod tips.size. This is a kind of a trick. It's a pretty simple math trick. Hey, Scooter won. Congrats, Scooter. So if you take a random integer and you calculate its modulo with the size of an array, what this operator does is it does a division and then returns the integer part of the remainder. So this effectively returns a random index into this array, assuming your array is 0 based. The indexes start at 0, which in Godot they are. So this will return a random index into the array, and I use that on the array itself. So this returns a random tip. So tips. Past me wrote some tips. So we can just add these in. And then we can see how they work for length. And we can adjust what we need to adjust. Why are you red? Oh. Just catching up to me. So now when I run this, it should give it a random tip. Do it again. That didn't seem so random. Yeah, it's actually not an error, this trailing comma. And it allows you to do things like, just rearrange these things. Everything has a comma, it's fine. Just saves, prevents an error from happening if you had this, right? If you have this, it's going to cause an error, right? But if you do that, you never have an error. And you can always just add on more. So every line's the same. It's just a convenience. Yeah. This is giving the same one every time because I'm not reseeding the random number generator when I run this scene. I do reseed the random number generator some places, just not here. I suppose I could. Yeah, that's a good tip. That is a false tip. That's a lie. Yep. Good tip. All right. Let's see. Let's try centering that label and see how that looks. Center, center. I do think it's... See, it needs some kind of border or a speech bubble or something. And I think she could be closer. Let's get them a little cozier. A lot of empty space there. Yeah, I guess I can't get it too close because the text might run all the way to the edge. That's fine. Hey, Game Dev Unknown. Oh. Chaotic Jackal. Thank you. I am going to stretch right now. And I thank you for telling me about my posture as well. My back has been killing me. I think I need to get... well, where did my screen go? There we go. I need to do a... I need to get a pillow or something for this chair. Or maybe a better chair. Oh, hey, Jack. Yeah, welcome, guys. How's everybody's latest projects going? Oh yeah, now we have a battle. I'm glad you like the stream. Yeah, in case you didn't know, the little characters on the screen spawn in when you say anything in the chat, and then they're AI controlled. So I have no advantage. I have no advantage. Because my player is AI controlled as well. And I was thinking about, I'm going to improve the AI on this because it would look cool. I mean, it'd be better if the AIs were a little smarter, but also as a way to experiment with single player local multiplayer. I'm going to put in a local multiplayer game where you can play against your friends. Hopefully I can get that working with Steam Remote Play. But if you don't have somebody to play with, you can play against the computer. And I think that could be fun. Wow. Judd, you're annihilating right now. Somebody's got to take the crown from Judd, and he's got 30 seconds. Yeah, so this does use a Twitch API. But Twitch uses, what's it called? IRC. All of Twitch's chat and everything goes over an IRC server. Everything that's not video, it's all IRC. So you can plug into their public IRC server. There's a special login you use to log in anonymously, and you just read the chat. And when you see things happen in chat, you can do stuff. And this overlay, I'm running in OBS, is just a Godot game with a transparent background. And it's just putting it on top of here, and it's just listening to the chat. Yeah. Pretty simple. It's pretty simple, actually. And there's even a Godot add-on called the GIFT extension, GIFT, that gives you all the IRC stuff out of the box. That's what I'm using here. So one of my plans, too, is to integrate this Twitch chat into the actual game, into Gravity Ace. So that if you're streaming the game for people, they can actually chat with you in game. A little dialogue box might pop up. But then also players can do things like turn off your gun for 10 seconds or turn off your shields for 10 seconds. You know, just to mess with you. It can be fun. All right, I like that. I think I want to change the color of this. And let's put the word tip in front of it. So this get tip, right, returns a random tip. And I'm just going to return tip like that. And I'm going to turn that off because that's not true right now. And that's not true right now. Gravity. Always pull you down. Pulls you down. Your ship doesn't use fuel when coasting. Let's reinforce that by saying your ship only uses fuel when thrusting. And let's change the color of the tip text. You can land if you go slow. You can indeed. There's a speed threshold for running into things, and if you're below the threshold, you don't blow up when you hit stuff. Let's change this to our Gravity Ace blue, which is that. And let's do an outline as well, which will be, oh, I can never remember this one. $181,425. That and that. Yeah. That is a long ass tip. Shooting. Too much. Too long. Drains power and turns off your shields. That's all you need to know. You can land if you are moving very slowly. I'm coming for you, Judd. Oh, ran out of the gate. Oh, that was fun. You still have the crown, though, because you got to 1 first. I have to kill you a second time to steal the crown. Oh, that was close. Get him, turn around, you dummy. Turn around. Shoot! Wow, 3-way tie for first. Oh! Yeah, man, you've got the crown. Oh! Oh! Congratulations, sir. All right. So I've got the, oh, you know what we need to do now? We need to animate this thing because it doesn't fit in, right? It needs to fade in and or pop up or something. It's just always there. Let's have this whole tips box just animate up, right? So we can put that in the animation player right here. So we'll have the tips box go to where it is first. All right, we'll have it go to where it is, right there. Tips rect. We'll have it go right there. And at the beginning of the animation, it's going to be way down here, off screen. Like that. And then this can even be, you know, maybe I don't want to actually do this with the animation player. Well, let's keep it. So this can be a ease out. Let's do that. No, let's do an ease in. Ease in. Takes so long. Let's go from here. That's better. And we'll duplicate this node at the beginning. So that way, right at the beginning, she'll zip down here and then stay until right there. Okay? And then I can adjust the timing just by moving this node. Now she's going a little slower. Now this will be way too slow, right? And this will be like just way too fast, right? Somewhere like that. That'll feel good, I think. And I think I want that a little bit there. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I want that to spring in a little bit sooner, so I'm going to move those like that. So you see the letterbox things? I want those to appear, and then I want her to appear right after, like that. And in fact, no, that'll do. And then we need to have her disappear too at the end. During the loop, I'm just going to have her stay. But at the end, she'll need to disappear. So she'll need to go from here, where she is. Back down to completely off screen here. Oh, not size. Delete. Position. And this one I'll also make a ease in. No, an ease out. Let's see how that looks. I still think that where she comes in is too far behind. Let's try that. But it's too slow. I want to appear right there. This is almost exactly where it was before. Too slow, too slow. GDScript is superficially pretty similar to Python, yeah. It uses a lot of the same kind of patterns. A lot of the syntax is the same. It doesn't have modules. And I doubt you could... It doesn't have the Python standard library, for instance. It has the Godot standard library. Hold on, I got to get out on this. But yeah, it's very Python-like, which I do like. I do enjoy, because it's... I like the way Python looks. Let's try this in the game, see how it looks. I like the way Python looks. I like the fact that you don't have all these curly braces everywhere. Overall, I think it's a pretty good language. Yeah, that works. And I didn't have to create any new assets for this, which is a bonus. I was thinking about doing a border around the tip, but I don't know. I don't think I need it. That seems pretty balanced. I think I'm going to move the title up a bit just to give it a little bit more space and balance it a little better between the top of her head and the top of the top letterbox. I can do that. Let's bring up the animation player again. See, I can do that by just moving this, by moving the labels up, right? No. So this is the thing that sucks about the animation system here. I can't just move the labels because I'm setting the position everywhere. So even if I moved it, say, when I play the animation, it's just going to move it back. And I've animated the tips as well. So this relationship is kind of set in stone right now. Could move the tips into its own, like that. And then I can move them separately, like this. I still have to mess with all these positions. This is why I kind of wanted to do it as a tween. It's fine. It's fine. Let's just put it where I think it should go. And then I've already got the timings. That is fine. I just need to change this node to put her right there, which is this. Right? Just re-keyframe it right there. and the end as well. Re-keyframe it right there. Okay, so now that they're separated, now I can adjust this because all my animations are on the labels themselves, not on this whole box. I probably should have done that with this and this as well, but instead I animated this box. So actually, another way to do this would be to put this tips inside of another control. And then I could move that around, and this animation would be relative to that control. This nested hierarchy is kind of a pain. Yeah. Yeah, I wish she could be a little smaller, but I don't really want to redraw her, but maybe I should. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to redraw her. Maybe, you know what, let's try it. I did say this is a pixel art stream. It's one of the tags I'm using, so let's not make me a liar. How about that? I think I want her about half the size that she is. And if I set the scale to 0.5, I think that feels a little better. Right? That feels a little better, right? All right, screw it. Let's do it. This won't be so bad. I'm just going to do it, and it's going to take 10 minutes. And I'll be like, why didn't you do that before? So first thing is I'm just going to resize it 50%. I'm not going to use bilinear. If you use bilinear, it's going to introduce a lot of blurriness. See all these half pixels? I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is resize it 50% using one of these algorithms. I haven't really looked into what the differences are, so that's nearest neighbor, and it looks okay. And then here's this other one, rot sprite. It's okay too. I think it does handle these corners a little better than the other algorithm. I'm not sure. Let's do them side by side. So this one will be nearest neighbor. Okay. And this one will do rot sprite. I think this means rotate sprite. And then just look at them. They're pretty identical, but the nearest neighbor does fine on those corner edges. Rot sprite is doing something in here where it's losing some of this blue that I don't like. And this one is doing something in here with this line that I don't like. They both effed up the right eye. This one really messed up her teeth, man. Look at that. I think I'm going to start with this one. All right, we'll call this Lieutenant half. Lieutenant 50, 50, half. Okay. Drawing tablet. Got the old Wacom bamboo drawing tablet. Got the old pen. I got this thing, this tablet, I don't know, God, so many years ago, I can't even remember. The thing just runs and runs. It's like a beast. It won't die. It's the best electronics I've ever bought. You know, longevity-wise. I've never even replaced the nib on this thing. It's probably all worn down and awful, but whatever. It's fine. All right, let's do some cleanup. One thing I know I'm going to need to do is fix that eye. Let's bring up our preview again. All right, I'm going to have to fix those eyes because they don't look right. I think the mouth is fine. And I think her shoulder here is okay. It's maybe looking a little thin right here. Let's start with the easy stuff. Let's get into this shoulder. Round that off a little bit. Let's get rid of this noise right here. Yeah. There we go. Let's see. I think this could extend there. I think this could extend there. Oops. That looks better. Let's remove some of this thick outline here. Doesn't need to be 2 pixels wide. Like that. This corner, that's fine, but let's do that. And see this noise here? I don't think we need that noise, so I'm gonna get rid of that. Even though it's probably more accurate to have it. It just looks better to not have the noise. Yeah. Let's do that. So you can see your bars on this side. All right, you see your bars on the other side. All right, let's get into the face. Highlight. Mouth is okay. I think the nose is okay. Her tiny, tiny, non-existent nose is fine. This outline is okay. Now it's okay. Right. Let's outline all of her hair. Again, like that. Yeah. Yeah, let's get rid of that highlight right there. Get this hairline all one color. that. Okay, and then the radio, I think the radio is fine. Do that. The eyes. Let's do that first. Ooh, kind of snaky eyes. Do a highlight. Kind of just redrawing the eyes, right? Too much. Nope, cross-eyed. Here we go. Okay, okay. All right, a little border touch up here. Touch up, touch up. Let's fix this. I don't know if I like that change. Yeah, no, I do. Ah, yes, thank you. Yep. Thank you, Scooter. I might not have noticed it, not right away. Can I erase this one? No, let's keep that one. In fact, let's add that there. Get that collar nice and bright. Yeah, see the shading under her chin from her neck follows onto the collar. All right, I think that's fine for a graphic that people are going to see for 2 seconds. Let's see how it looks. So, oh, slacks. That's amazing. Thank you. So here's the old graphic, right? Just scaled down. It looks terrible. But I'm going to replace it with our new art here. LT half. That is amazing, Slacks. Thank you very much. I don't think it's going to make the AI take it any easier on you in the game, though. But thank you very much for sharing with everybody. That was awesome. All right, see, there's the new art. And look, I already noticed, right? There's a problem right there. Did I not save it? I did save it. I just didn't do it right. You can't hear me? Let me know. I think I'm broadcasting. Oh yeah, there's no sound in the game right now. The on-screen game doesn't have any noises. And then that letterbox scene doesn't have any noises either. And I may have turned off the sound in the game. Yeah, I think that works. I think that works. Oops. Yeah. All right, so now you see how she's kind of floating? I'm going to put an underline under her. And I am going to move this whole tips box. Well, let's see. Let's move these something like that. Like that. That works, actually. And then right under the LT, I'm going to add a... how will I do this? A horizontal? No. A split? No. What's it called? It's divider? Holy crap. Slacks, are you sure you're okay? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's amazing that you're doing that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. That's awesome. That's what I want. All right, so I've got this H separator. Right, I'll put it right there. That, right? But I'm going to change the color of it by doing a new line and changing the color to that blue. Yeah. Holy moly. Phoenix Gaming. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Hey, since everybody's in a followy mood right now, and the party is going so great. Oh, let me try this out. If you do a heart, there we go. You guys seen that? That's what happens there. And smileys do a thing too. Ba-boom. But since everybody's in a followy mood right now, go follow my YouTube channel. I asked everybody a couple of days ago, last week I think, to go follow me on YouTube, because that's where I'm posting my shorter 5-10 minute videos, and I'm going to do another one this week. So if you're not following me on YouTube, please go and follow me on YouTube. You can get the link on gravityace.com. There, so now she's floating still, but it doesn't look so much like she's floating because she's got this underline. You can kind of see it there. It gives her a base. It kind of grounds her, right? And we've got our tip, and now she's not taking over the whole screen. And the game crashed because I tried to go to the next scene, but it doesn't work, obviously, if I'm just running just this scene and it doesn't know what the next level is. Yeah, I like that. Maybe instead of saying tip, let me get rid of this drawing tablet. Move my keyboard back to a comfy place. I'll have it say LT says, right? Now you're getting a little tip from the lieutenant. Oh, I see. Well, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. You started following at a good time. I spent a lot of time working on little graphics and stuff. I mean, look at this nonsense down here. My camera view. Here, watch this. And then I did these transitions. I'm going to show off this transition. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ah. So doing stuff like this is fun, not super productive, but it feels productive. Here's where you can get all the info, and we're back. Yeah, I made the transition in Blender. It was fun. I learned how to do transparent videos in Blender. The trick is you render it as a MP4, but inside you tell it the codec is just PNG files. And when you choose PNG files, you get an option to export the video with RGBA, and then you get a transparent video, or a video with transparent areas. Pretty cool. All right, I think this is good. Those are good tips. Gravity always pulls you down. Your ship doesn't use fuel when coasting. Your ship only uses fuel when thrusting, right? These are corollaries that help reinforce that idea. Gravity wells can push or pull you depending on their orientation. Shields turn off temporarily when you're out of fuel. Shooting too long drains power and turns off your shields. Shields can take a single hit before they recharge. Laser beams instantly kill anything that touches them. Reactor will explode if it touches anything. Collect all reactor cores and unlock the next sector. You can land if you're moving very slowly. blow up, no, destroy enemy fuel depots after you use them. Tip. That's a good tip because that's the only way you can get an S rank. I don't know. We'll add more tips as I think of them. I've leveled up my stream quality. It's surprisingly fun to do. I remember when I first started doing this, I was like, I don't know. I talked to some friends. I'm like, what do you guys, what do you think? And they're like, yeah, go for it. It's fun. And the first couple times I did it, I think I had fun from the first time, but it was awkward. And now it's slightly less awkward, but more fun. It is still a bit awkward. It's just weird being on TV, right? All right. So here's the code. Here's the new scene with all the animation player nonsense. Here's the new animation track, right? The new art. And this is noise I can throw away. So this is tips added. How to play tips to Letterbox. Level transitions. Boom. Done. Where's my to-do? Wow. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Now, let's fight. What does it mean to me? Do you mean like financially or just spiritually? For a long time, I've made income, some portion of my income, in a way that's not traditional. I run a couple of websites that earn passive income, which is nice. I have a product that I sell online that earns income that I don't have to spend a whole lot of time on, which is nice. I consult, I have a bit of a contract consulting business that I run that earns income. And I have a job as well. So I have a lot of different income streams. And so this doesn't feel too different from those. And I do, who wouldn't rather make money from doing fun stuff like this than going 9 to 5 at a job, right? So I really, really, really sincerely, let me see if I can do this. I really, really, really sincerely appreciate everybody doing whatever they can to support this. It's amazing, and you guys are amazing. I mean it. And I love seeing, I think the game dev community in general is great in how supportive everybody is and helping everybody out. There's so many games out there, and there's room for everybody, right? That when different people are making games, even if they're very similar games, they'll still promote each other and help each other out. It's not like a competition in that sense, at least the indie dev community, right? And I love it. It's just fantastic. So to show your support by following or just being here chatting or subscribing is amazing. And It's amazing. You guys are helping to restore my faith in humanity. Oh man, my eyes. I'm not crying. You guys aren't tearing me up, but my eyes are dry. Yeah, making a living off of streaming. Seriously. 300 subscribers. But, I mean, 300 is doable, I mean, it's a lot. It's a big number. But there's 7 billion people on the earth, right? Almost 8 billion people? Almost 9? I don't know. There's a ton. And they're just making more and more people. It should get easier as more people get made to grow an audience. We'll see. All right, so this one is done. And I do like the idea. I've never been the type of person to make things that have mass appeal. Everything I do is kind of a niche. Like I sell a writing app online that not very many people use, but the people who do use it love it. And I make Gravity Ace, and not a ton of people. It's not for everybody, right? But the people who like that sort of thing, there's enough of them, And I think that's true for a lot of things. Is you don't need to take over the whole world. You just need 300, All right. Done. All right, that feels good. Done. Let's do a sound effect. So the sound effect, let me show you where it's going to go first. So the sound effect will go at the end of the level. But let's play a level and see what we see. Maybe there's some folks in the stream who haven't seen it before, and this will be a good opportunity to show it off. Boom, boom, boom. There's my new astronaut names showing up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Push through there. And out. All right, so right here, there should be a sound effect. And there's nothing. So I think what I'd like to do, well, let's see, let's close this. Two things can happen at the end of the level when you make it to the exit. You can launch it's possible for the reactor core and for you to exit the level at different times. So I want two sounds, one for the reactor core and one for you, that can play to be an audible cue that the thing has been successfully retrieved, right? I want two different sounds, but I want them to play, to be able to sound good played separately or played together. Do the astronauts you collect in the level show up in the level summary screen? They don't, but the account of them does, but the actual guys don't. That might be fun, right? Adding them in there. Let me write that down as an idea. Rescued astronauts to game over scene. An idea a friend of mine had too is if you've rescued some astronauts and you blow up, then all the astronauts fall out of the ship wherever you blew up. But I don't think I'm gonna do that idea. It's a neat idea. Maybe I'll prototype it at some point, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. But having them at the end game over scene would be cool, because then they could be like congratulating you, like, hey, thanks, man, we made it. You rescued us. You did a good job. And they do all have names now. You're right. So yeah, it would be cool. It would be cool to see them there. We'll see. So this column is my list of all the ideas of things that I think I could do for the game that would be cool. This is the list of things I need to do to finish the game. So I'm resisting as much as I can moving things from here to here. I'm trying to keep this list shrinking instead of growing, right? Although some of these things, like Act 2, right? This card is actually much, much bigger than the one we just did, right? Obviously. This is going to have a checklist with 24 things in it. And actually probably a lot more than that, because there needs to be new enemies. This list will grow, but I'm resisting making it grow more than I have to. All right, a little personality, right? And then you worry about them. Yeah, that's good. That's good. An emotional connection with the game is important, I think, because otherwise you literally just don't care, right? All right, let me turn off my music player, because we're going to be working on some music or some sound. Let's just call this, let's create a new edit here called level exit. And what I'll end up doing is I'll have 2 tracks. Well, maybe multiple, but I'll group them or whatever. But there'll be 2 main things. One will be the sound of the reactor core getting pulled out, and one will be the sound of the ship getting pulled out. And I'm going to compose them together so they sound good together, but then I'll export them separately by muting one of the tracks so that they also sound good individually. And if you exit the level, attached to the reactor core, they'll still both play, but they'll be playing at the same moment and they'll sound good together. But if you left without the reactor core, you'd hear a slightly different sound. You wouldn't hear the reactor core part of it. That's the idea. That's the idea. And we'll see if I can do it. So now I'm not sure how I want the sound to be. I think I want it to be kind of like a do 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 do, something like that. I mean, it would be kind of like, where is it? Where's my bonus noise? No. It would be kind of like this sound. No, this one. Right? But different than that. How did I do this one? What is this? F? Goes from F up to C, 1 octave higher. So I want something like that, right? But maybe more notes in there. Do 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 do. But not music. I want it to be a sound effect, not a musical effect. All right, let's just try it. Add a clip. Add an instrument. Oh, add an instrument. Let's do subtractive. Close you for a sec. Let's add our MIDI input. Is my MIDI keyboard not plugged in? Nuts. I have a little mini MIDI keyboard. This guy. And for some reason, I unplugged it. I don't play piano. Actually, I can plug this into my keyboard. My keyboard has a little USB thingy on it. All right, but I think I'm going to need to, yeah, it's plugged in. I'm going to need to restart this app. I need to clean my desk, man. This place is a mess. All right. Here it is. So now I can play the keyboard. It's nice. I like this thing. So it's got all these buttons, right? It's got something like 30 keys, something like that. So it's like, what is that? 2 octaves, I guess. A little over 2 octaves. And it's got the drum pads over here. And it's got a bunch of knobs that you can program to do whatever you want. And it's got this little expression joystick here for doing, you know, pitch and volume things interactively. I think it was like $150, something like that. They're not too expensive. It's a little too small to use as a real instrument and play, unless you stay within 2 octaves, but you can. And then I guess most melodies probably stay within an octave within pop music. So it's not bad. I turned a bunch of knobs and now things are acting weird. All right, so now we can choose an instrument. And I like having the keyboard just so I can kind of flip through the instruments and hit keys. And it's like auditioning the instruments. Didn't I just say I don't want it to be musical? Yeah, I mean, it could be So that would be simple, right? Do some kind of trumpet. Let's see. Brass. But I don't think I want it to. I don't want to do a musical thing. It needs to be more sound effect than instrument, or more sound effect than song. That's interesting. I mean, something even simple like that could work. What is that? D, E, F? That's F again. I keep hitting F. No, that's G. Oh, I like that. All right, let's start here. Let's start right there. How do I make this note longer? Mm-hmm. Hey, thank you, Chaotic Jackal. Maybe it doesn't need to be longer. I just need to zoom in more. Yeah, this is going to be a very small clip, so it doesn't need to be this long. What am I thinking? 9 bars? No. This is a sound effect. Let's change this to milliseconds. This needs to be very short. Under a second. Way under a second. But let's start with a second. Zoom. Enhance. Game dev enhance. All right. More like this. Just drawing notes because I'm not a musician. That's better. See, and then by letting it go out to a second, you can kind of get that reverb still echoing, right? And if I drag this, we can hear it loop. All right, let's start with that. And then let's add a... I want kind of a... Well, I want kind of something with a little impact, right? So something that goes kind of like a victorious, right? But not music, but something that is a affirmative reinforcement that you achieved the goal. And I want it to have a sharp impact at the beginning and then ascend. So I want some kind of beat here. Some kind of beat here. Where are all my... Here they are. Impacts. Where are my impacts? Cinematic toolkit. The other thing I like about using this app, this is a traction waveform, but any DAW will do this kind of thing. And the reason I like this better than working in Audacity, which I do use Audacity quite a lot, but for this type of work, I prefer this because of this. You can browse a folder of sounds, right, and just audition them by clicking on them. That one might work. And then you just drag it right into your mix like this. Convenient. So let's see. And then I can fade it out. It's a non-destructive editor too, which is nice compared to Audacity, where everything you do is destructive. You have to either live with the change or you have to undo it. This one I can just, fade this out as much as I like without having to do anything. There is a free version of Traction. They have Waveform Pro, and then there's Waveform Free, or maybe it's called Traction Free. Let me see. Waveform Traction. Let's see what we got. They call it Waveform Free now. Here's the link. Cross-platform, works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. I used the free version for a long time and then decided to upgrade. Mainly because I want to encourage people to make Linux-compatible apps. But I do enjoy the app. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't like the app. And then you can take the volume down on that. And you see, you can hear the impact, kind of that buzz happens here. So you can slide the sound within there. Yeah, I think that's okay. We can put that in the game and test it anyway, see how it sounds. This sound kit has a bunch of, cliche stuff you hear in movies, movie trailers. All right. The nightmare one. Transitions. I download a lot of these kits from another site called Noise that I subscribe to. I don't think these guys are free, but they just have just a ton of different sounds you can download and use for whatever. Noise.com. 2 eyes. I just download the sounds and save them. I have a monthly subscription to this, so you can get like, am I even logged in? I think well, maybe it's not monthly. Maybe I have like an annual subscription. But when you download, like, you can go to their cloud and just search for whatever you like, and you download what they call kits. And each one of these kits has just hundreds of noises in it. This one only has 26. I picked a small one. Some of them have hundreds. Sample packs. Cyberfunk. Anybody playing Cyberpunk 2077? Look at this one. It has 387 sounds, half a gig. And just tons of sounds. Anyway, I get a lot of my sounds there. All right, let's add a track. So those, let's see, how do I group these? I don't use this app a ton. Create a folder. Create a new folder. We'll call this folder, how do we rename it? Reactor. And we'll put you in there and you in there. Okay, so that'll be my reactor core sounds. And I'll create another folder for the ship. And I'll put you in there. And I want to do something like that plays well with this, right? But maybe a different instrument. So let me start by copying this, pasting it here, and moving all of these up, maybe like that, and changing the instrument here to something else. I should save this too. Let me save real quick. Yeah. Move my... Actually, I don't need to move the MIDI. Well, let's go ahead and move it, and then I can play. Right, so you can see this one's playing, and that's playing, and this is playing. And if I mute these, that's just the new one. See, so that's, let's see. If I play the reactor core by itself, that means I'll mute this guy, or solo the reactor core. Right? And now if I solo the ship, you get a different one. So they sound good together. That's just the reactor, and here's the ship. And that's both of them together. So something like that? I don't know. I think I want more notes in this one. Let's move all these down to, let's move all these down an octave. So again, soloing just the ship and soloing just the reactor. And together. It's getting there. I don't know if I like this thing. Let's try it with just these. All right. Let's try it with just these and see how it sounds in the game, and then we can adjust. So, I need to export 2 sound files. Let's see. Can I export just a folder? I want to only render selected tracks. So I've got my reactor track selected. Right? If I select the ship track, does the waveform change? Probably does. I can't tell. Maybe it changed. I don't know. All right, so this will be the ship. I have the ship selected. I'm going to export it. I'm going to put it in game. And then where am I going to put this? Game. Ugh. Browse. I want to put it in game. I want to put it with the thing. I want to put it with the thing that pulls the ship out, but I don't know where that scene is. Oh, I stopped Godot. I stopped Godot. What do I call that scene? Let me move this keyboard out of the way. Oh, sorry. I'm knocking everything over. Exit. Oh, I know where I put it. I put it with the exit beacon. That's where the sound could go. Yeah, that's where it can go. And that's saved in the beacon folder. So that's where I'll put these. So let's put it in the beacon folder. This is the exit beacon. I'll put it in the sound effects, and we'll call this level exit ship. What is going on there? Level exit ship wave. Save. Render. And then the other one, let's make sure that actually did what I think it should have done. Beacon sound effect. There it is. That's both the sounds. Let me just mute this. Export again. Oh, I had the wrong thing. Oh, whatever. All right. Level exit ship wave. Replace render Godot. There it is. All right. And then unmute this. And let's try this again. I'm going to select this track, export, render to file, only render selected tracks, and we'll call this level exit reactor wave. Render. Back to Godot. I've got reactor now. Yeah. But I didn't like that explosion that hit, so let's turn that back off. Let's call this hit. Call this notes. Nope. Dang it. Notes. Rename hit. Rename notes. All right. Yeah. Export again. I wish it would remember the name. Reactor. Replace. Only select a track. Dang it, I have the wrong track selected again. This is so fiddly. Let's just mute this. Hit. Yeah. Export, render. Reactor. Okay. It's doing both of them. That's muted. No, it's not. Now it's muted. Reactor. So there's the reactor exiting. And here's the ship exiting. And then they should sound good together. All right. Let's do some coding. So this is the exit beacon. This represents your exit from the level. So I'm going to add a audio player, and I'm not going to do a 2D audio player because I don't want the sound to be positional. I just want it to play in the ears of the player wherever they are, because it might be happening off screen somewhere. I don't want them to miss this. So this is going to play out non-positionally, and duplicate it. And this one will be sound effect reactor exit, and this will be sound effect ship exit. And I believe, although my belief is being challenged right now, I believe that this thing knows which one. Yes, it does. It knows which one it got. So if you're beaming out the player, then I will play sound effect ship exit play. Otherwise, I'm going to play sound effect reactor exit, like that. And this will get this sound, and this will get this sound. And I don't do any volume scaling or anything like that in here. I do all of that stuff in the editor. I'm not normalizing anything. I'm not messing with the sounds at all. So whatever I export from my DAW is what I use in the game. And that way, and I do that universally. So if I want something quieter in the game, what I typically do is I go and change it in the DAW. It's just easier for me to think of that way. It's the same reason I like, if I'm doing animation in pixel art, I go and change the original animation. I don't change the animation player timings or anything. I set up the animation, I have it play at 12 frames per second, and if I want to change something in the animation itself, I don't mess around the animation player. I just go back to the pixel art and change that and re-import it. Or rather, the re-import happens automatically. So once I've set it up here like this, I never have to touch any of this again. It's done. I adjust the mix and everything in the other app, because the other app's better at it. All right, let's see if this works. Let's play level 1. Get a tip. Thanks, LT. That's nice to know. All right. And we will, let me turn off the dialogue. We will go in here and escape with both together first. I don't think it played them both. Ah, I see. Maybe this isn't the place to put these. It might be better in the game scene. So what's happening here is it's... Well, where are those tractor beams coming from? I'm asking you guys, but... Hey, Valiant. Everybody welcome Valiant. I was about to do an accent, but I'm not going to do that. Valiant Cheese is from Australia, I believe. Are you from West Australia, East Australia, South Australia? I was going to say down under in that way. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. Yeah, the game that you're seeing here, by the way, Mr. Cheese, is based on Twitch chat. So you spawn in your character by saying something in the chat, and then an AI takes over playing the game and fighting. And oh my God, Slacks has just been on a generous mood today, giving gift subs to people, and I think you're a wonderful person. What was I saying? Oh, if you say something in the chat, it spawns in your player, and then the game plays itself. So you can kind of, I don't know, sort of like a gladiatorial arena combat where you're rooting for your guy. And then if you get killed, you can just say something again and you'll spawn back in again and keep fighting. And the rounds last 180 seconds. And oh, wow. And Judd's just been annihilating everybody. And we have 40 seconds to take the crown from Judd. Ooh, I'm at 4. I'm coming for you. Shoot! 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 Oh, my bot is so dumb. So this is based on IRC. This is, looking at the chat and watching messages come by. And I've also got it doing this, which is kind of fun. And I've got it doing this, which is fun. Surprisingly easy to do, integrating with Twitch chat, because it's all text and it's an open protocol. And I used an add-on to integrate with the IRC, so I didn't have to write any of that. Fantastic. Yeah, how are you doing? Let's see, where was that thing? So I'm looking for the tractor beams. I don't know where the tractor beams are coming from. They must be... Are they in the main scene? I'm gonna have to trace this code and see where those come from. Is it... No? Is it this? No. Here's the beacon. It does this. Beam out. Oh, here's where it happens. Yeah, it is in the game scene. Okay, so let's just move these over. Or maybe I could listen to a signal. And then I can put it in here. I could put it here. I don't want it here, it turns out. Maybe I should actually put it in here. But then I'd have to pass in to hear what's the thing that's beaming out so it knows which sound to play. Which wouldn't be so bad. That actually wouldn't be so bad. Hey, congratulations. Sold 2 copies. Nice. It always feels good to see such a tangible outcome, right? It feels good when people say, hey, you're doing great. I think what you're doing is wonderful. That feels great. That makes my day. But then on top of that, to have somebody say it by giving you money that they could have used to spend on other things is like another level, I guess. I don't know. It's not better per se, although it is better in some ways because I can't buy groceries with kind words, but I can buy groceries with money. Anyway, it's nice to see sales like that. Oh, you got a Patreon too, huh? I didn't even know that. You gotta talk about that more. You know, let more people know that you have a Patreon so that people can subscribe to it. Yeah, I mean, so do I. It's kind of funny, right? Like, I think probably amongst folks like us, we do have some things in common here. We're probably, by and large, we're probably mostly male. We're obviously interested in coding and technical stuff. I'd wager to say we're all a bit introverted, but these aren't rules. But attack, and we probably all share a similar dislike of self-promotion. But the way I look at it is, if I'm watching something and somebody's promoting something and I like them and I want to support them and they promote something, I'm glad that they told me. That's how I personally feel. If someone I'm following or whatever promotes something, I'm happy to help them. In whatever way I can. I'll retweet them. I'll follow them. I'll tell them, tell other people about them. I'll go check out the thing that they just showed me because I want to help. So on the other side of it, I love it when people promote things just so I know more good things to know about, right? Just so I have more good things to like. But it always, on the other side of it, it always feels a bit awkward to promote things, even though I know most people probably want to see the promotion. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here in the first place. It's a never-ending. It's a never-ending conflict, right? Where was that article? Cheese Talks, right? This was a cool, very long piece. Whoa, what just happened? Hey, Eomer. Thanks for the follow, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think this was the article, right? I'm going to post it in here in chat. I encourage everybody to read this. If this is the right one. This was the one you posted recently, right? There's a lot in here. But a lot of it you talk about pay what you want and the challenges around that and why you chose that method. And I thought it was very, very interesting. Medium length. Is Nevik? What is Nevik? Is Nevik a person? I don't know what Nevik or Nevik link is. Oh, okay. He's a person. He's been helping you test your game. Cool, 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 cool. Gotcha. Where am I going to put this? Oh, before I forget, I need to put these on the FX bus. If I leave it here, then players won't be able to turn off the sound effect. Turning off the sound effect in the options menu turns off these, and turning off music turns off this. Master is always on. So since these are sound effects, I need to remember to put them on the FX bus. Otherwise, that option won't mute those sounds. I kind of like it here, but it doesn't work here because this just detects if anybody has entered the reactor or the thing. It doesn't detect if they've exited together. And as soon as you exit it, it initiates the beam out. And the beam out does this. Which creates this or this, right? It creates the tractor beam that pulls the player out, does a bunch of stuff, right? Basically removes the player and the reactor from the world. So it makes sense that I could put the sound here in this scene. And then I'd have to do something like sound effect player, something like that. Or this one. That, right? Which is a bit fiddly. Let's just do it and see how it feels. So in here, I want to merge in from the beacon scene. These guys. And then in the beacon scene, I'll delete them. And take you away. And then in here, I need a variable, sound effect. Let's give it a default. And then this gets called once it's been added to the tree and all of its children are initialized. So I can say if sound effect, let's do match sound effect, player, then I'll play ship exit. And if reactor, I'll do reactor exit, right? This should do what I want. Let's try it. So we'll go play, skip. No way, you can land if you're... Thank you, LT. I love that tip. Let's try it. Well, what do you know? Look at that. Huh. Kinda. That shield popping back in doesn't help. But yeah, cool. Alright. Get you, and did that not work? Null instance. Look, it's right there, dude. Oh, it's named wrong. Safirks. Oh, I had it right. Oh, shoot. I corrected a typo, but the typo wasn't there. The typo was here. Safirks. All right. Continue. There, okay. That was the... Let's try that again. You should hear both sounds. I didn't save it. Let's try that one more time. You should hear both sounds. One for the reactor and one for the player. It should be a beautiful harmony. Good Lord. I need to restart it because the instance being loaded in the game is not the one that's... Okay. Here we go. This time it's going to work. On Tuesday, I did something that worked perfectly on the first try. Hey! That's not bad. That's not bad. I kind of like that. Alright, let's try it again separately now. So this one I'll do the old throwing the reactor maneuver. Throw. Right, so you get the cue that it happened, and then when I exit, I get my cue. And if I do them together, they sound good together. They sound better together. Like peanut butter and chocolate. Yeah, that's a rough draft. All right. So I've got the infrastructure in place. I've got the code written. It works. Now I can just spend my time on refining that sound, right? And getting the mix right. And when I do that and export a new sound, I just flip over here and it comes in. Godot automatically imports it. And I'm not messing around with any of this stuff, so I don't care about any of those settings. They're just done. So I can just work on the sound independently of the game now. I imagine this is how people work in studios, where they have one person doing sound and one person doing the code so that they can work independently. And so I just got my setup in a way that I'm working independently, even though I'm just one guy. Judd needs more competition. I should have this keep track of match points each round, right? So you'll add up over the match, over the entire stream. So you might win a couple of rounds, but maybe not win the match. Although I think Judd's not only winning the rounds, he's winning the match. Being able to write the finance article is one of my motivations for making the game. Pay what you want to begin with. Interesting. Interesting. It's interesting that you had the idea for that article before you made the game. Or it was one of your motivations for doing it that way. Yeah, so even though I'm just one guy, I do try to keep the art production, the sound and music production, the programming production, all independent of each other as much as I can, just so that it's easier to do, you know? Like, I know if I want to change any of the art in the game, I can just fire up the art editor, Aseprite, and go and change the art. And then it doesn't matter where it is in here, in Godot. when I flip over to Godot or open Godot, it's just going to import the new art and away we go. I don't need to do anything. And same with the sound and same with the music. So I strive to set everything up like that so that there's as minimal or as few dependencies as possible. None, right, being the goal. So that I can work on those things without having the mental load of having to think, oh, well, if I import this new sound, then I also have to go in here and I have to change these settings and blah, 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 blah. Or whatever. If I change an art, I have to go into the animation player and I have to do this and this and this. I don't want to do any of that stuff. So, like, if you look at the, let's look at a entity from the game, like a turret. It's got an animation player, right? But like the appear animation, well, I mean, that's a bad one. So, like, this is how I usually do the animations. Right? It just goes from the starting frame to the ending frame. And it goes at a steady whatever frames per second this is. So if there's 12 frames here, it's going to play 12 frames per second. If I want the animation to be smoother, I don't change this. I add more frames. And if there's some animation frame in here, right? So there's the animation. If there's something in here that I want the timing to be different, I don't add another frame and move it around. I actually go back to the original art and change the order of the frames. So I never have to touch this again. It's set up once and I'm done. It's lucky to have someone who can support you like that. You know, I mean, not just financially, but obviously your partner cares about you a great deal and they're very supportive. That's awesome. It definitely helps. And it's like I call myself a solo game dev, but I'm obviously not really, right? I have a wife and lots of friends who've helped me with the game. And I don't know, it's like the old saying about raising a family, right? It takes a village. I just had to readjust my glasses. I put them on the outside, and they're tucked into my headphones here. Because the headphones were crushing my ears against them, and it hurts after a while. Hey man, we're your village. We'll be your village. Once you get back into it again, let us know. I'll be there. Alright, so this is the framework for the new sound. I've got the sound right here and here. This shouldn't have changed. I don't think it did. I think that's just noise. Yes. Yes. Oops. Cancel. And yes. Okay. Added basic sound effect for when reactor and player boom out at the end of the level. Excessive, what do you call it, comment here. Because I write these comments from the perspective of a changelog and an end player reading the comments. And things that I want to keep to myself, I add a private tag and it ends up not in the changelog. But these ones end up in the changelog. And obviously I edit it later, before I release the next build. I released a build yesterday, and that change log came from the commit comments. It comes from this. Right? All right. So I have a basic sound effect. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just sit with it for a little bit. We'll call this first pass, final pass. Right? So I do this with all the art I create. Sound, graphics, whatever. I'll do 2 passes, right? I do a rough draft, basically. Woo! I won. I do a rough draft, get all the code in place, and then I play the game a lot, or I forget about it for a week and I come back to it later. And if it still sounds good to my ears or looks good, whatever, then I keep it. And if it doesn't, which usually after a little bit of space, a few days of space, I can see there'll be something about it that bothers me. Or I'll see, oh, you know what that really needs is some more cowbell. And then I go and add more cowbell. But it takes a couple of days. I can't do it right now because I'm too close to it. I just made it, and I'm not sure how I like it. I think I'm on the right track, but I do know it needs something, but I'm not sure what. So I just need to play with it and take a couple days break from it and come back to it later. And when I do, I'll adjust it and call it done. So 90% done, which is good progress. Yeah, fresh eyes and ears. Very, very valuable and important. If you're struggling with something, like coming up with a good sound or good art or whatever, and you feel like you're not making any progress on it, really probably the best thing is just stop working on it for a little bit. Because in a couple days you'll start noticing things about it. After you take a break, you'll start noticing things that you couldn't see before. That's how it works for me. Bullets. Are the bullets rigid bodies? What are your bullets? My bullets are, in fact, rigid bodies. You got it. You nailed it. All the bullets. The ship's bullets. These are drone bullets. These are those circle bullets. They're all rigid bodies. So there's a rigid body. It's got a collision, obviously. It has a trail, which is a particle system. Oops. Right, that's that particle system. It has a sprite, which is just this guy. It has a glow, which is another sprite, which I modulate with a color. It keeps track of its own sound effects for when it hits things and when it hits enemies. It plays a slightly different noise. It has a visibility notifier with a signal. So a visibility notifier node just tells you when you went off screen. So when it goes off screen, it does a thing, it dies. And it's also got a death timer. So if it hits something like this, right, it also will die, right? And what the die method does is it just says, am I already dead? If it's already dead, it just does nothing. Dead things don't do anything. And it hides itself. Yeah, it hides itself and starts the timer. And the trail death timer just runs for a second, and that allows so let's pretend it hits something. It goes over here and it hits the wall, right? it gives that trail a second to fade out before it actually removes itself from the scene. Boom, and then it dies. Boom, and then it dies. And then the death timer, I think the death timer is just a long timer. Yeah, if the bullet has been flying for more than 3 seconds and it hasn't hit anything, then just kill it. It's obviously gone crazy. Bullets are added to the main scene in the game. So they're added to this scene. When you're actually playing the game, you're in this scene. The level is loaded here. The player and all the entities in the game get loaded here. And then I think bullets get added here. This method, this game, actually, where is it? This scene has a method called add child, which I've overridden, which just gets the current scene and adds the object to it. And that current scene is going to always be this scene when you're playing the game. So it adds it here. But everything has its own Z order. So like this rigid body has a Z index somewhere. Yeah, so it's playing on this default level. Whereas the ship, like the player's ship and other effects, they're like higher up. And some things like background objects are lower down. So the ship actually is what adds the bullet. Let's see. Shoot. There it is. So when you shoot, where is it? There it is. So when you shoot, right, creates the bullet, and then it calls the game singleton to add the bullet to the scene. And the game singleton does this, which adds it here in the tree, right under this thing. Let's close that. I want to save this. I think if I run it and switch to this and switch to the remote view, here's the game scene. No, that's the game singleton. If I start the game, it'll add it here. How's this gonna look? Oh, I don't have bullets on this level. Dang it. Let's go to a level where we have some bullets. Where the gun's on. Okay, so there's the respawn, right? And there's the bullets. See? And then you see it's still in the game, but you can't see it. Right? Expand this a little bit. So there they are. Even though you can't see them, they stay in the world for a bit to allow that trail to disappear. If I turn on collision shapes, you'd see a bunch of dead bullets collisions here. But it turns off the collision too, so you can't actually run into them anymore. actually seeing all this stuff appear. Nope. Catch. All right. Did I commit anything? Ooh. Oh yeah. No, there is not. You guys want to see something funny? There's no upper limit on chat ships. So, I was testing this on some streams with 80,000 followers. 80,000 viewers, for example.
I'm not losing money no matter what at this point, but I just want to talk to you a bit, get to know you.
Mute.
Cool. Obviously, man.
Mute. Let's find a stream with a ton of viewers. Here's one. Oh, let's look. Let's follow. Let's attack. Let's put this in Pokemon's chat. So here it is. And we'll attach it to Pokemon. So this will go into her chat and just start listening to the chat and spawning in players. Fun, huh? Not very useful from a streaming programming point of view, but it is fun to watch. It's interesting too because it's kind of like a real-time view of chat activity, and if you watch this for long enough, you'll see lulls where not as many people are talking, and then all of a sudden a burst of activity where like somebody did something and everybody's reacting to it, and you'll see all these ships exploding on the screen. It's kind of fun. No, this doesn't have any features or anything in it. It's just there's nothing like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Anyway, that's how I tested it. Once it gets up to a couple thousand, I've been in a couple of rooms where it started lagging the computer. Just because there's too many things. I mean, I'm basically building my own Stream Avatars app, right? I suppose I could just buy Stream Avatars off of Steam, but everybody uses Stream Avatars, and I thought it'd be fun to make one. And it's a prototype playground, right? Experimental playground for putting this feature into my actual game anyway. So it's not like, yeah, I'm calling this R&D. This is technology investment. Not just goofing off. I'm not goofing off. This is important research. Yeah, and I'm thinking at some point, so I'm going to have this in the game, right? So at some point there'll be a, in the options menu, there'll be a Twitch choice here, right? And when you go into the Twitch choice, it'll be similar to this one, where you'll have these things. One will be, you know, type in your Twitch channel, right? And the other will be a bunch of options like, can players turn off your shields? Yes or no. Can players chat in the game? Will chat bubbles appear? Yes or no. Can players, I don't know, turn off your gun for 10 seconds? Yes or no. Can players spawn drones that attack you? Yes or no. Right? And then maybe there's some way to, I'm sure there's some way, but maybe you can hook this up to the channel point system so people can spend their points to do some of these commands, right? Like if you spend 250 points, you can spawn in a drone, something like that, that attacks the player while they're streaming the game. Yeah, right? Space chickens. Exactly. And maybe next Christmas, maybe this time next Christmas, there's a whole Christmas themed thing, like, you know, make it snow on the level or something. I guess my intent here is, you know, you want to make it fun. You want to encourage or give a reason for people to stream the game. And if people have a reason to stream it, if it's fun to stream it, then they will, theoretically, right? If they know about the game, they might stream it. And some percentage of the people who are watching that stream might buy the game. Maybe people will buy it just to stream it because it's fun to stream. I don't know. That's kind of the idea. I don't know how that will actually pan out in practice, but integrating Twitch chat is pretty simple. Adding the options is pretty simple. It's a pretty low effort thing to add, so I'm gonna add it. Twitch integration right here. All right, let's see. I kind of feel like I want to work on one more thing. We did the tips letterbox. We did this, but we're letting it percolate. We're letting it brew a little. This I'm going to do off stream because it's boring. And this, I guess we could do this one. Let's do this one and then let's tackle a bug. How about that? Gotta fix these bugs. So Nakama does a debug. It does a debug printout. When it's initialized. And I don't want the debug to be running. I don't want the debug printout to be running in the production game, right? Here it is. So I want to replace this with a debug level. And this is the default debug level, right? Call this debug level. So if the game's released, then the debug level will be something different. If what is it? Has I can never remember, but at least I remember the name of it this time. They're called feature tags. Godot feature tags. You can query the feature, and there it is. OS has feature. And one of the features you can check is if it's a release build. So if you say if OS has feature release, then debug level equals warning. No. Let's just say none. Yeah. So it'll put itself in, it'll choose a debug level, which should print everything. But if you're in release, if the game has been released, it's a release build, then it'll set the debug level to none, and it passes that in when it initializes the Nakama client. And the Nakama client won't print anything out in the release build, but it will print stuff out here in the output console when I'm running it from the editor, when I'm testing it. Attack. Oh, look at that. We're both yellow. All right. Let me just run that and make sure it doesn't crash. Perfecto. Oh, actually, let's do this. The code never even got there. Why is that? Oh. Keep finding these errors. If let's call this login result. Let's name the variables better. So this pattern I have to do because Nakama, all the methods are asynchronous, but they can either return an asynchronous state, or they might return some other value if they did something different. So this just checks if it's the async thing, then wait until that's done. Otherwise, just carry on about your day. This shouldn't crash now. And we should have gotten some debug output. No debug output. Why not? There it is. Sets up the client. Oh, it's because it didn't do anything. Okay. I was trying to be clever and turn this off, but I out-clevered myself. The Nakama thing is turned off. That's why I got the error in the first place. Because I tried to skip through the error, but got the error anyway. I need to turn it on. Now I should see some debug output. Right? There it is, Nakama debug output, because Nakama's turned on now, and it failed. So all this code worked. And now I can turn this back off, because I'm not ready to deploy it yet, because I don't have the server running yet. But this works, and I fixed this as well. Ah, oh, Valiant Cheese, you win again. Right, and now there's nothing because I turned it back off again. By the way, I didn't know if you guys know this, but you can add your own project settings. Check this out. So I added this, right, into project settings here. And you access it like this, projectsettings.get, right? Which is cool. It's very convenient because you can do things like this, where I have the normal project setting. This is where I intend to run the server. And then I have an editor override. And you can add overrides to any variable for all these feature tags. So you can have a release version, you can have a debug version of the value. You can have an editor version. So this one applies if you're running it from the editor. So if I'm running it from the editor, it it uses this as the Nakama server, and this is the key, and this is the port. But if I'm running it in a release build, it'll use this. But the code stays the same. So you can add a new config by just typing in a category with using slashes like this. So the first part becomes this. The second part becomes the subheading. And the third part is the property name. And you access the whole thing using all together, nakama/config/server IP. Give them a type and it gives you a nice interface. And you can delete or add keys. And it just saves these in your project file and into the release build. And you access it like this from code. So here I'm just saying, give me the server IP. And here I say, here's the IP for the release build, here's the IP for the editor build. Pretty cool. All right, so that is... How did that get changed? I must have moved the mouse wheel in there. Let's undo that. And that's noise. Undo that. This was the only change I needed. Debug level and a bug fix for the yield here. Turn off Nakama debug log in release build. And I'm marking this one private because players don't care, so this one won't make it into the release notes. It's just for me. Making progress. Making progress. Boom. All right. Well, shoot. Let's just take the top one off the list. Can't take a screenshot with print screen. I can't take a native screenshot of gameplay. This came from the Steam forums. The user wrote, I can't take a native screenshot of gameplay since the print screen key pauses the game. I can take many fantastic shots of the pause menu, though. If you play through Steam and want a Steam screenshot using the F12 key, that works. I tested it with a Norwegian keyword and keyboard and key mapping. All right, so a native screenshot using the print screen key ends up making a screenshot of the pause menu. Let's check that out. So Steam, in their recommendations, when you're sending your app in for approval, they say, look, if your game loses focus, let me put this always on top. If your game loses focus, like if I click here, it should pause the game, okay? It didn't pause the game here because it's the title screen. There's no reason to pause it. It's effectively paused, right? Because I'm not playing. But if I'm playing, let's pick a level. So here I am playing the game, and if I click away, it pauses it, right? Because it lost focus. It does the same thing if you unplug a controller or plug in a controller. Kill, kill, kill. Attack. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my lord. Yeah, and you can play the game without Steam running. You can buy it from itch or whatever. I test it all the time without Steam running, right? So, yeah, so you want to be able to push print screen. But if you do that, you would expect to get a screenshot of the game. So I'm going to push print screen right here and see what happens. Yeah, it does. It pauses the game, and then it takes a screenshot. It did indeed. It took a screenshot of the pause menu, but before the shader ran. So just at the beginning of the animation that turns on this shader, it took the screenshot. So it's like you push the print screen button, the pause screen appears, and then like one frame later, the OS actually took the screenshot. So pushing the print screen button, because it activates something in the OS, it must be making the window just temporarily lose focus to the OS so it can do the screenshot and then it comes back. Because the window never seems to lose focus. Right? It doesn't seem to, but it did lose focus for just a second, maybe a frame. Oops, sorry. Yeah, and there's another screenshot of the beautiful pause menu. Okay, so I'm able to reproduce this complaint, this bug. It's a real bug. I can reproduce it. Let's bring up the pause menu, or the pause scene. I have a pause scene. We were talking about that, how I do pausing in the Discord the other day, yesterday. This morning? Yesterday? I can't remember. What is all this? This is a weird bug. When the pause scene is exiting, when the pause scene is exiting the tree, this should get called before. See, tree exiting, this signal happens before it exits the tree. But it's the error I'm seeing is you're not inside the tree. You can't do this unless you're inside the tree, but this method gets called before you exit. Maybe this is getting called and then it exits so fast that that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why this error is happening, but I'm just going to fix it by saying if not is inside tree. This doesn't affect the player because it doesn't crash the game. It's more of a warning, really. It's so weird. I don't remember seeing this error ever before. This should effectively do nothing, because if you're not in the tree, then this method shouldn't even get called. And if you are in the tree, then it will work fine, the way it's intended. Let's see if we can get the error to happen again. Click away, come back, click away, come back. I'm paused, I'm continuing, I'm paused, I'm continuing. Does it get here? Continue, pause. Oh, interesting. It's not getting there anymore. Oh, it wouldn't get there. It wouldn't get there. Because this is exiting the tree. So this is like if the scene, it's not just the scene changing, or the pause mode activating, it's the scene changing. That should have triggered it. Maybe I don't understand this signal. All right, detour. Tree exiting, emitted when the node is still active, but about to exit the tree. This is the right place for deinitialization. But it seems like here I am in the game scene, and I'm going to exit. Let me put the breakpoint someplace else. I'm going to put the breakpoint right here. Exit. There it is, right? So the scene's exiting the tree. But it's saying I'm not in the tree anymore. How can you be exiting the tree and be not in the tree at the same time? That might be a bug. How can you be not in the tree and exiting the tree at the same time? Let's see if someone's filed a bug against that already. This might be related. It looks like the engine is doing some cleanup of the nodes before we get here. Before we get to the tree exiting bit. Oh, hey! Hey, look who it is. Exit tree emitted before its children's. Ah, see, this is interesting. Hey! Hey, guys. Guys and gals. Hey, Spherus. We're doing some debugging, but for those of you that don't know the game, let me show you a quick trailer. Check this out. This is Gravity Ace. This is the game I'm working on. It's made in Godot Engine. It's available right now on Steam. You can go to gravityace.com and check it out. Yeah. Pixel art, cave flying nonsense. Thanks for joining along. It's nice to have you guys here. Spherus is a excellent Unity developer. She's got some great assets for sale in the Unity Asset Store. She's a shader expert. So if you guys have any questions about that kind of shader math or Unity questions or 3D, she's great at 3D. Uses Blender for a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, you're an expert. All you have to do is show one picture of one of your crazy shader graphs, and there's no disputing that you're a shader expert. Anyway, you should definitely check out her stream. This might be the problem here, right? So this tree exited signal used to be called after the children had left the tree, but now it's inverted. So the children, the roots exiting the tree before the children? I don't know. It seems like there's some bugs around this already. I'm not going to file a new bug. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see this bug because it doesn't actually affect the game. I don't think it actually affects the game. This is what I want it to really do, and it does that. Yeah, I'm going to pretend like I didn't see this error. All right, what were we doing? Print screen. If you do print screen, it pauses the game because the game loses focus for just a split second, which is tracked here. Hey, look at that. Oh, yeah, HLSL. Cool. We'll be able to see very neatly organized code in addition to very neatly organized shader graphs. So this is a global, not a global, but it's a callback that all nodes have where you can just get whatever notifications you want. And there's just a billion different types of notifications. One of them is Windows lost focus. And if it has, then it pauses. But I wonder, I don't want to override the print screen button. I want to let that do what the player expects it to do. So I'm not going to hijack it in any way. But I think, want to detect that button was what was pushed. I could probably check it here. Or maybe another way would be this. I can say, right now what it's doing is it's saying, if the window loses focus, then pause. But what I could say is, if the window loses focus, then wait a tenth of a second. And if the window has still not had focus, then pause. And that will cover the general case where the window loses focus for any reason, just briefly. It'll ignore it. Okay, let's try that. So I'm gonna do something like, so this is if the window loses focus. I'm gonna do something like, is there an in? There is. So this is the window gaining focus. I have my process right here. I think I want to do something like have a timer. Lost focus timer, like that. Let's see. So this will say something like, if you've lost focus for a while, then pause, right? If you've lost focus recently, right? That's what I want. That's the intent, right? If you've lost focus recently, then pause. So how would I know? This would be something like lost focus equals that, say, 0.1 seconds. And then here I would say if lost focus timer greater than 0, then lost focus that, right? Subtract the time. And if lost focus timer is less than 0, then pause. Right? There. So I set the lost focus timer to 0.1 seconds. Process will say, look, it's greater than 0. Start subtracting. And as it subtracts, if it gets under 0, it stops. It'll pause the game. But here, I'll say, look, we got focus again. We got focus again, guys. So just set it back to 0, which means this won't enter here anymore. So this effectively stops having any effect. Right? So let's try it. I'm slouching. Straight Up Gruntled. We're fixing bugs. Hey, everybody. Welcome, Straight Up Gruntled. We are doing great. I'm slouching. I've spent hours this week doing goofy stream transitions and motion backgrounds. Check it out. Ready? All right, back to business. Oh, Scooter, thank you for the posture check. Thank you for the posture check. Gotta sit up straight. I think I need some kind of pillow. I probably need a better chair. All right, here we are, straight back. Deep breaths. Engage my core. All right, so when I click outside the window here, it should pause it. Let's make this always on top. Right? I click away, it's paused. I continue. Click away, it pauses, right? Kill these guys real quick. What level did I even get to? Good lord. Give me peace. Oh, no. All right. Let's try the print screen button. So the print screen button shouldn't pause the game. It did. This isn't working right. Maybe it needs more time. Let's see. Let's put a print here. Lost focus. Maybe this isn't doing anything. Regained focus. Focus timer timed out. So this is a timer. That I should. It would actually probably be easier if instead of using a variable like this. Yeah, if instead of using a variable like this, I'm going to convert this to a timer because then I can lose all this code. I won't even need it. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But let's just do these prints for now and just see if we can get the concept working. So this should do some printing. Oh wait, it worked that time. I changed the delay. I made the delay longer. That's what I did. Right, there's my screenshots. Beautiful. All right. And then they are. So there's lost focus, regain focus, lost focus, regain focus. So if I go in here, I should see a regained focus. There they are. Just moving the window makes it lose focus. If I hit continue, right, nothing. So then if I hit print screen, we should see a lost and regained. There it is. Interesting. Made it actually lose it twice and regained it. So somehow when you're pressing print screen, the OS gets control, the window loses focus, it comes right back. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So I set the delay to a half second, and that seemed to work. And I could probably even set it as high as a whole second, because if you click away and the game pauses a second later, it's fine. We're talking about human interaction times here. We'll just play with it and see. So in the pause menu, I can create, and I'm going to replace this variable. So I can create a timer, and I'll call this the lost focus timer, right? And I'll give it a time of 1. It'll be a one shot, which means it runs once and it stops. I'll give it a timeout, right? Function here. So this is a callback when it actually ends. And when it ends, all it's going to do is pause. Okay, I'm going to move this up here just so I can see it better next to the thing that triggers it. Right here. Right? So here, I don't need this variable anymore. And here, I can just say lost focus timer, start. And here, I can say lost focus timer, stop. So this, when it loses focus, oh, and I can delete all of this. Don't need it anymore. And now by removing code from process, the game should theoretically perform a little bit better, because instead of interpreting this GD script every frame, this is process, so it's every draw frame, every render frame. Instead of doing that code every render frame, it's doing it in GD script. It's letting this guy do it. And this guy is updating his timer constantly, very fast, right? But it's doing it in the engine in C++. So it's effectively free. The performance will be incredible, much, much, much faster than doing it here. So there would be some kind of performance boost, but also it's less code and it's more visible to see what's happening. I think this reads better as well. So when you lose focus, start the lost focus timer. When you gain focus, stop the timer. And when the timer times out, when it reaches its end, pause the game. So it's much less code by using this node, and I think it reads better, and it should perform marginally better, but not in any way that anybody's going to notice. It's just a good pattern. Let the engine do it. And then I can change this timeout here just by dragging a slider. So let's try it. Aged cheddar. I love aged cheddar. Today I've been eating a brie, actually. The last couple of days I've been eating this brie and just leaving it out on the counter and let it get warm. Eating it with crackers. Delicious. All right, always on top. Yep. So I'm going to click away, and it'll be about a second before it pauses. Right? That's fine. Might be a little too long. That's fine, but it works, right? And click away, click in, and it didn't pause, right? Because it stopped the timer before the timer ran out. Away, in, away, in, away. And print screen, print screen, print screen, print screen, print screen. Let's get this explosion. Print screen. All right, that seems to work. I think the lost focus timer can be a little shorter. Let's go back down to ½ second again. And let's look at our screenshots. That's a good one. Okay. This is you guys. This is the stream recording. And let's do one more test with the new shortened timeout just to make sure. Just to make triple sure that I fixed the bug. Print screen. Print screen. That seemed to all work. Did I get a good screenshot? Ooh, nice. That might be my screenshot Saturday. Yeah, let's save that one. Let's post that to Screenshot Saturday. Where are all my tags? Da 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 bop. Screenshot Saturday. Always be marketing. All right. So I think that's the bug fixed. Let's change that back into an underscore. So that code didn't change. Here's my lost focus timer bit. Perfect. And then the scene itself has the new node with the connection, the signal. Perfect. This shouldn't change. This shouldn't be changing. Let me just exit here and reload this, because otherwise it's going to keep trying to update the project. What are my project settings? Quit. Revert. All right, so that's my scene, and that's my code. One more test, one more test. This is how I test. Albert, are you here? One of my, he's not here. One of the guys who follows me, he was asking me, how do you test the game? What do you use? Unit testing? Are you using, like, what kind of automated testing do you use? And I'm like, how do you test the game? I'm like, I just play it a lot. Print, print, click away. Perfect. All right, let's commit this. Commit, stage, bop, bop. All right, this is a user-facing change. It's a fixed game, fixed game losing focus during screenshots. Losing focus and pausing when doing print screenshots. Again, this is a user-facing. This will eventually be in the changelog, so I write it from a user's perspective, what would be useful to the person looking at the changelog. And I say fixed, and it shows up in a section called fixes in my changelog generator. This thing, right? Hey Marks, I'm shocked at your progress. I heard about your game from a fellow game dev in chat on my stream. Great to see you working on it. Oh, you're a fellow streamer. Let me see. Am I following you? Oh, I'm already following you. I must have just started following you recently because I haven't watched any of your streams yet. And it looks like you streamed about a week ago. And you are also using Godot. Excellent. I love following other Godot developers. I've been working on this since 2018. Yeah. I officially started it. Well, let's see. I officially started it in... There it is, January 9th, 2018. And then I worked on it for a few weeks. And then there's February. And then I kind of stopped. Yeah, between March and May, I did nothing. Right? I basically stopped working on it in early February. Then I tinkered with it a little bit and made 2 commits in March. And then I didn't touch it again until June. May 31. And then I don't think I really did much to it until about August. Oh no, here's a bunch of commits in end of July. So I picked it up again in earnest end of July. I don't know, it kind of comes in fits, you know, I'll work on it. I was working on it for a lot, and then I would put it away. And then work on it for a lot and put it away. And it wasn't until maybe the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019 that I really started working on it on a daily basis. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been working on it a long time, is the answer. Thank you. I assume when you say you're shocked at my progress that that's a good thing. I'm shocked you've spent so much time on this game and it's so terrible. I'm taking it the other way as a compliment, and thank you. Yeah, an automated playbot would be interesting. The trouble with this type of game, right, is like if I'm making a visual change to something and I change an explosion or I change the timing of something, how do you write a test for that? How do you make sure that the Z ordering of everything and the transparencies are right so that the images, when they're drawn on the screen, look correct if you change some art? How do you test that? I think you'd have to have something playing the game and taking screenshots and comparing it to old screenshots of how it's supposed to look and then telling you if there's big differences. I'm not sure. But even beyond that, if I had something that I could unit test, I feel like I'd be writing unit tests all the time because I refactor a lot of stuff. And the stuff that I'm not refactoring, I know it works. I don't need a test. I only need tests for the things that are changing, but the things that are changing so much that I'd be writing tests all day long. Anyway, and I don't know a good way to regression a game and do a full integration or regression testing without actually playing it. So I just play it. Yeah, I do have a changelog generator as part of my whole build system. I was thinking about doing a, what do you call it, a YouTube about my build system, but I don't think I will. Because if I did do a YouTube about my build system, I would want to open source it for other people, but it's all Python scripts. It only runs on Linux. I'm sure this would fail on a Windows computer, so it's not going to be useful to the vast majority of people. But I might talk about it in theory. So I've got a build script. All these Python scripts basically just orchestrate running command line tools. So the build script runs git, gets build numbers, version numbers, it updates a file, it tags the git repo, it generates the changelog, and it runs Godot by just executing Godot to run the builds. And it puts all the files in the right place. It copies them off to Dropbox for testing. I have some testers who monitor the Dropbox. Right? And then the push, this actually takes everything, asks me some questions. Here's the changelog. Are you sure that's good? And then it actually pushes the builds out to itch using Butler, which is itch's thing. And it pushes the Steam builds out to Steam using the SDK. That's Steam's thing. Reads all the passwords and usernames and everything from a config file. Butler, I don't know where it stores its authentication stuff. And then, so I've got this version thing, Python, and it basically is just a bunch of helper commands that run git. So the version thing, the generate the changelog thing is in here somewhere. Here it is. It gets commits since the last tag, which is this. So what this does is it runs git to find out when was the commit. Get me the log of changes since the last time it was tagged until now, and format them in this way. So it basically does a git log format equals %s, %n, %b, and it uses some tag, right? So it uses a commit all the to head, something like that. Boy, it's hard to read on the stream, isn't it? Let me make this bigger. There, so you see this? So it's basically doing this. And when you do that, let me take off that part. It gives you a log like this. This is all the commits, right? So it does that, gets that output, and then it does some processing on it. It takes commits that are on multiple lines, it puts them on one line, it takes lines that start with this and concatenates them together with the previous line as a semicolon, because at the end of the day, I want to look like this, right? So if I had these dashes in my commit message, it just appends them here as semicolon, because they all go together. And then it looks for things like fixed and puts it in a fixes section. It looks for this tag and it puts them in this private section. Everything else it puts in this new and updated section. Like this. Right? Has this private string, this fixes string, this update string, and then it just puts them all out, right? And it saves it to a file so that I can edit it later. Yeah, I tag every public build. So that's part of the build script. where is that? Build, one of the first things it does is it makes sure I'm on the master branch, because I don't ever want to build if I'm not on master. At some point I'll maybe have it clone master, so I don't need this check. But right now it just works off of my dev folder and just warns me, hey, you're not on master, I'm not building this. But if it does, then it gets the latest commit, updates a version file that drives this information here. It updates this version file that gets built into the game. So the build script updates this file and then builds the game so that this gets baked in. The version file is really simple. It looks like this. So it increments this number, updates this, and then it tags Git. It tags the head with the version tag. So here's the release I did Friday. And then before that, I have this release getting tagged. So at any point in time, a user can tell me, hey, I've got a bug. And I can say, what version are you playing? And they can give me this. And this I can tie back to a very specific commit, but so can this. And then I can go back to that commit and try and reproduce the bug, if I have to. So far, I've been able to reproduce every bug in the master off of head. I have tried exporting to HTML5 and it doesn't quite work. I haven't done it recently. But the last time I tried it, it just didn't work very well. I probably haven't tried it in a year. I was doing an HTML5 build for a while. I don't think I still am. Yeah, I commented it out. I stopped doing the Win32 build as well, because nobody downloaded it. So I don't know. Maybe. I'm planning on doing some kind of a demo, maybe around February. Maybe an HTML demo wouldn't be a bad idea. I just remember it wasn't just performance problems. There was actual bugs in the export. And HTML is not my main target, so I'm not interested in really fixing those or spending a lot of time on it. But if I could get an HTML5 build running pretty seamlessly with minimal effort, I might consider making one for the demo. Interesting idea. Yeah, I mean, I've made some small games with Godot in browsers. Can't remember the last one. I think the last one might have been Surf Gods. Oh, this one I did in Godot. Garden of Frogs. That was kind of fun. What else? I did this one. This one was in Godot. Oh, and this one's Godot as well. So you see it downloading the pack. This one I was actually surprised it ran because it even does the audio. There's an audio thing in here. When you go up, it pitches the audio up, and when you go down, it pitches the audio down. And it worked. I was really surprised. So this is all Godot. So that's pitching the audio in real time. When I do jams, when I was doing jams, I prefer to do an HTML build for jams because you get more people to vote and play your game if it's an HTML game. Yeah, so for these types of small games where I'm building specifically for HTML5, it works pretty well. I mean, this is identical to the standalone build. Kind of magical how Godot can do this. Look, a fuel mechanic. What a surprise. All right, that's enough of that. All right. So that is fixed. I got that fixed. And let's archive some of this stuff. These are old. I did all these. Added random astronaut names. I did a full playthrough. Landform names. I've got leaderboards in, but I'm not running the server yet. This is leaderboard stuff. I experimented with slow motion when the player dies, but I didn't like it. Blah, blah, blah. Laser blinking. Yeah, these are so old, I don't remember what they were. All right. So we did this, and most of this today, and we're letting this kind of sit and see how we feel about it in a couple of days. I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks even. I might want to put this into a build and see how people respond to it. I'll definitely at least show it around to some friends and see what they think of it. But I think I just need some time to evaluate how this sounds. And we got a great idea from Scooter, adding rescued astronauts to the game over scene. And we got a lot of new subscribers and followers today. And Slacks was going nuts today, gifting subs to people. Just phenomenal. Today was a great stream. I think I'm going to call it a day, guys. So next up for me is I'm going to work on a YouTube video. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but look for that next week. And if you're not following me on YouTube, please go follow me on YouTube. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, by Christmas, and I'm pretty close. It'll be fun. Go check out the game, gravityace.com. Follow on Itch, Twitter, YouTube. All the links are on gravityace.com. The game's available now on Steam. Please tell everybody you know and try it out. And I'll see you guys next time. Probably going to stream again Tuesday. Watch for a YouTube video next week, and then we'll be back again Tuesday night and Saturday. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a good one.